Another song I'm thinking about is a song one of my friends wrote, and we played it for a while. Johnny helped make the video. Tulsi time. People, it is Tulsi time. Look at it, ladies and gentlemen. I want to announce she has a book signing coming out. It's finally done, and I sent it off to the printers. My debut book, For Love of Country, Leave the Democratic Behind, is coming soon. Pre-order your copy today. Congratulations to Tulsi Gabbard releasing that book out there. I just wanted to point that out. Oh, something else I wanted to point out. Tulsi Gabbard is the headline of fundraiser at Trump's Mar-a-Lago resorts. You can't make this up. Yes, Tulsi Gabbard, once Democrat, is now going to be a headline keynote speaker at a Mar-a-Lago event right around the corner. Jamie, I know you said for me to go, but it is $1,250 a plate. I know you can see it right there. $1,250 a plate. Former Hawaii Representative Tulsi Gabbard is slated to appear at former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort next month, according to an invitation shared exclusively with The Hill. Gabbard is set to be the keynote speaker at the 917 Society's annual fundraiser on March 7th for a night in Palm Beach celebrating the Constitution. Yeah, for $1,250. The event comes after Trump, the current frontrunner for the Republican nomination, acknowledged Gabbard is under consideration to be the vice president choice among several other contenders. And like we've said, it's only $1,250 for a plate. Crazy. I unfortunately will not be able to try to slip in. Jamie's idea was to wear a tuxedo and act like it was part of the wait staff, but I will be on assignment and out of town, so I will not be there for their event. However, this is something that Laurie Spencer pointed out that I want to talk about right now. State ballot access laws require RFK to announce his VP pick early, like any day now. Trump won't choose his VP until the Republican convention this summer. Dangling the VP carrot in front of Tulsi is Trump's calculated way to prevent her from teaming up with Kennedy. This is a valuable point she's making, a very strong point she's making, but it also could be true. You have to announce your VP to get on the ticket for certain places as an independent, like Florida, right here. A lot of people thought it was almost a shoo-in that Tulsi Gabbard was going to be RFK's VP. However, if she can be better served and has a better chance of winning as Trump's VP, would she take it? Would she take Trump's VP? Well, all indications think or say that the fact that she's speaking at Mar-a-Lago, that yes, she would take it. And it's a very interesting question. Now, I'm falling out of favor with Tulsi Gabbard. I don't support her the way I once did. She is good on certain points and certain principles, but frankly, her rhetoric when it comes to the whole Israeli-Palestine situation and saying very harsh things about Arabs, Muslims, was really, really bad. I didn't like it at all. I thought it was way off color and off-putting, but this is something she was accused about for quite some time. Nonetheless, there are still points and principles she has when she talks about being halfway anti-war, right? Like some wars are no good. I didn't like the fact that she praised the fact that she went over to Africa to fight radicals and all these other entities when she knows herself that the United States funds a lot of these jihadist radicals, like the Mujahideen to begin with, like ISIS and Al-Qaeda. So the fact that she was in Africa praising that, it was a real big no-no for me. However, she did go to Syria with Dennis Kucinich at one point, and she strongly talked about moving our troops and getting out of Syria. Does she still stand by that principle? Does she still stand by that point? And if she was the VP, or let's say she was Secretary of Defense or Secretary of State, would she then try to convince Donald Trump to pull all the troops and close the bases in Syria? Wouldn't that be a positive thing? I don't know. That's for you to decide. I just have to bring up both sides and mention that. But let's play this video right here. Donald Trump with his eyes closed. When he does talk about mention, and listen to the way the crowd roars as they bring up Tulsi Gabbard.
The audience has been asked who they think would be a good choice, and various names came up. One of them was, of course, Vivek Ramaswamy. Yeah. He's made a big splash. Ron DeSantis, who's making an appearance today in South Carolina, we just found out. Obviously, Tim Scott, Byron Donalds, and a big presence here for Tulsi Gabbard. Very interesting. And Kristi Noem as well, I should say. Right. Are they all on your short list? And when can we expect that you will announce your choice?
The one thing that always surprises me is that the VP choice has absolutely no impact it's whoever the president is. It just seems. I remember when Sarah Palin was actually picked, and she did have a big up, and then they just went after her at a level that nobody's seen. The Republicans themselves went after what they did.
But you'll be a one-term president because you've already served, so you can only serve for one term, although they say you'll never leave office. I assume that you'll never leave. There'll never be another election
Don't
again.
do it. He'll never leave. He's never going. Oh, these people. They are
so for that reason, it is important who you pick.
I think it's very important. But look, first is that, as we said, it has to do with whoever is, it's a very important position for that reason. You would like to get somebody that could help you from the voter standpoint. And honestly, all of those people are good. They're all good. They're all solid. And I always say, I want people with common sense because there's so many things happening in this country that don't make sense. Who wants an open border? Who wants high interest rates? Who wants all electric vehicles? And they're fine, but you want to have choice. You want to go to combustion. You want to go to any hybrid. I think the hybrid are much better from that standpoint. But we were talking about faucets. We're talking about so much. It's all based on common sense. We want a strong military. We want choice in education. We want to have things that can really make our country great again. What we're doing with the open border is a disaster. We are destroying our country. We're going to change that fast, and we're going to get your energy prices down.
All right, that's enough of that. Yeah, very interesting. You can take that on down. Tulsi Gabbard was on that list. You heard people who applauded very heavily when she was announced, and that's something that we have to consider. Listen, I believe that, let me say this. I'm going to put out my personal beliefs. There are some people who believe out there that RFK just isn't wrong about the Israeli-Palestine situation. They believe that he is compromised. And that makes them say, well, that's going to cancel him across the board. Because if he's compromised on this situation, right here, whatnot, that means the people who have him holding whatever over him, they can then decide any other thing, and then he has to go along. There's a lot of people out there who feel that Dr. Cornel West is not compromised and he's just wrong about a lot of things, and that's what aggravates them. Would you rather go and back somebody who is compromised, who you agree with more, or somebody who is wrong and not compromised? Because you have to kind of look at this whole situation. If, in fact, RFK can get on the debate stage and it is Joe Biden, Donald Trump, and RFK, wouldn't you want him on that debate stage? Whether I like it or not, RFK has some points and principles that I like that he talks about that are really awesome that no other candidate talks about, specifically when it comes to the COVID virus and all those protocols, where the vaccine comes from. He talks about SSRIs. He talks about our agriculture. He talks about things that are not talked about from any other candidate, and that's great. It really does suck his stance on Israel-Palestine, because I know a lot of people who did once follow him, who once were excited about him, say, he is compromised. I can't watch him. That's up for you to decide. But it's hard to argue the fact that somebody like a Tulsi Gabbard as a VP for Donald Trump wouldn't be a positive thing. Who would be a better thing? Look who was the last vice president, Mike Pence. I don't know. That's up for you to decide. I laughed hysterically when I first heard it and saw it. I was like, oh, it's just typical, because she has gone more of a conservative way. She's been on the 5. She was just on Greg Gutfeld the other day. And like I said, her responses and her opinions about the Israeli-Palestine situation were kind of harsh, especially towards Islam, right? And this whole Islamicist and what it really is and how you can thwart that. I don't like it whatsoever. I think they're wrong. I've never liked her opinions about that. However, I think this time she overstepped her boundaries. Her time in Africa, like we talked about, a big no-no for me. But if she does have that stance on Syria, and she's going to openly go and tell Donald Trump, hey, listen, we need to get out of Syria. You need to pull the plug there. I don't think she will. Some people say she will. I don't even know what her stance is on Syria anymore. But if she were to fight to remove the troops in Syria, isn't that a good thing? If she were to get rid of ballot harvesting and push on the ballot harvesting, a bill she brought to the floor to eliminate ballot harvesting and got that back in the public's attention, isn't that a good thing? There are certain things that Tulsi Gabbard used to put in the spotlight that were great. Yes, the negatives are the negatives, but the things she puts in the spotlight, aren't they important? And that's why even still to this day, I don't look at RFK stuff the way I used to. I'm kind of just with him as well. But then every once in a while, I'll peek at his numbers. And some of the things he's talking about are looked upon. And I'm not talking about the negative things. I'm talking about the things that are positive. They're looked on by thousands and thousands of people. So you have to determine for yourself, is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? I know when people say, oh, don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good, that's a bunch of hogwash, right? I don't support any of these people, RFK or Tulsi anymore. I don't, right? But you have to decide, is it good or is it not good that a lot of these people talk about things that are not talked about before? They have different opinions. Because if you listen to the conservatives across the board, the populist right, where they're at on a lot of things and the excuses they make for Donald Trump, it's hogwash. It's BS. They blame China for everything. I heard today in CPAC, and by the way, Tulsi set to talk at CPAC again. CPAC today, what our friend told me, I was on the critical hour, Dr. Wilmer Leon said that they were just blaming China on everything without any proof. China this, China's that. Oh, all these Chinese nationalists are coming across the border, and they're going to turn against the United States from inside the United States. It's just mind-boggling. A lot of their opinions and their positions are awful, So what is your opinion out there, ladies and gentlemen? Is Tulsi running a good thing? If she is the VP, is it a good thing? Even for those of you out there who don't support her like me anymore because you feel enough is enough and she went over the line, is she the VP? As the VP, a good choice? And when he was talking about, Donald Trump was talking about Sarah Palin, nobody even knew who Sarah Palin was. Everybody knows who Tulsi is. She's got millions of followers. She's been on Fox News. She seems like the compromise candidate. There's issues. She wrote a bill about elections. She tried to eliminate ballot harvesting. She talked about open source and the way we count our ballots. Maybe she could be a good voice for that. Maybe she'll get pushed back. I think Donald Trump has done a great job as far as highlighting a lot of the issues with the elections. But then again, who knows? You let us know, ladies and gentlemen.